I mentioned it in one of my previous videos, but these silicone bends are more prone to pop off. But if you use straight connectors, especially if they go really deep in, it's much more unlikely for them to pop off. I may need a shorter coupler than this, but I am gonna try this one even though the red is a little much. But hey, it matches the brakes. All right, so here's the new setup. I've got straight couplers instead of bends everywhere except for down here, because the new pipe coming off of the Volvo turbo going this way, it comes too far this way, and this is a little awkwardly shaped. I could just do entirely new intake piping, and maybe I will at some point. Beneath the couplers, these pipes, they mate right together. They're very close. I had to cut them to be able to do it that way. My secondary injectors, one of them's being pushed against the motor mount a bit. It would probably give me a bit of peace of mind to brace it a bit, maybe have something that pushes on it. I hate fuel leaks on the motor mount. It's a big pet peeve. And obviously just not ideal to have a fuel leak. It may be time to test it, make sure I don't have any leaks. Now, this is the first week I've taken it easy in months, but I have been working on dialing in a few things here and there. For one, I got that piping taken care of. I like the new routing. I think it'll work, at least for now. I still want to play with the angle to this because that lower injector is awful close to that motor mount. I changed the hose running to the blow-off valve because I kept having issues. The old one was a little more frail. This is a nice thick line. We're not gonna have an issue with that anymore. I still need to work on this fan. This fan's working now. It seems to be working all the time. Need to at least replace that one. Then we're gonna take it back to the drag strip. Okay, I just now took another look at this piping and realized that these injectors would clear if I just pushed everything that way. So I did that, and now it's all super solid. It's got plenty of room before the injectors touch anything. It's gonna hold together very, very well. I feel much better about it, actually. All right, this is long overdue. Switching out the connector for the PDM in here. Gonna go ahead and go like that. Yeah, so if you saw my fuel pump video where I was swapping over my fuel pump, I found that this output was getting overamped, and the rest should probably be self-explanatory. So I moved all my connectors away from it, and now I'm going to replace it with a fresh new connector. Shouldn't be too insanely difficult to do, and this actually wasn't that expensive to replace. I definitely could have done it earlier. I was really expecting it to be worse than it ended up being, and that's partially why it took so long. It's so snug, I don't want to damage this brand new connector. Come on out, buddy. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go pin by pin and just transfer. Kind of doesn't matter, but I'll just start from the top. Hopefully none of these fall apart. You're almost in. There we go. Just a little further. There we go. Snapped in. It should be that simple for the rest, hopefully. All right, before, after. Now all we're missing is the cheese. I hope all those are correct. I'm gonna double check. All right, I did go back over it, and I did have to move one of the wires, but I think we're good now to add back the cheese. There we go. All right, it's locked on. Okay, Guess we should test to make sure that it works. I'll actually leave it open for now. Everything's looking green. Let's turn it over for the heck of it. Well, good to know we're running properly. Gonna turn it off for a minute. I only had the car on for a split second and it already stinks of exhaust fumes in here. Yeah, ugly, right? Shouldn't have left it like this for as long as I did, but it is what it is. I actually switched to the 4-point harness that I had that I wasn't going to install for the driver's side because the modifications that I'll have to make the 5-point harness effective and safe, I honestly just don't really feel like prioritizing that right now. And since I got this one already, it'll do the job for now. So I'm feeling a bit of a morning drive. Feel out the settings and everything and just how the car's holding up. Uh-oh. Fuel pump didn't prime. That's not good. Okay, so strangely enough, I can see the relay clicks on for the fuel pump, but I didn't hear it prime on, but no fuel pressure whatsoever. The only thing I've changed is the PDM stuff. So maybe I need to take a look at the PDM, make sure that it's set up properly. If I take a quick glance over here, should disconnect power just to be safe. The relay triggering confirms that it's getting the signal to turn on. I literally turned it on yesterday after changing the PDM connector, so I'm confused. No signal from fuel pump. Okay, this really isn't what I was expecting to run into today. It's always something. Alright, I'm gonna get the laptop and see what I can assess. It is really frustrating, but it could only be so many things. I'm gonna just go ahead and start by trying to trigger certain stuff. Check the starter. Okay, that works fine. Fuel pump. I hear the relay for it, but fuel pump itself not responding. I even hear the MAC valve from here. I hear the working fan. That gives me an idea of what could be wrong. Okay, I'm connecting directly to the PMU16. Let's try manually turning it on. And I'm gonna kill the power steering pump for now. Is it really possible my fuel pump went out? It sees, the PMU sees that it's on, but currently the pump itself is not responding. I've got no fuel pressure. Switch it back to the fuel pump trigger channel. It doesn't seem it's the PMU. It doesn't seem it's the FT550. The relay is responding when I try and trigger it, which tells me that the connection between the fuel pump and the relay is probably the problem. I don't know how that may have happened, and I've got so much back there now, it may be a pain to reach, but I think that's where we're gonna have to start. So I noticed I hadn't opened my VP Fuel Jug yet, and it turns out you have to open it with a 1/2-inch ratchet, so that's so silly to me. Alright, that's cool. Now, as you can imagine, with the recent renovations I made, it looks like it's going to be really annoying to get this out of the way so I can access the fuel pump. That's an L I'm going to have to take. Gosh, Do I have to lift this all the way out? Maybe if I come to the other side. Maybe if I climb in the car. It's gonna work. Okay, this is annoying, but it's not absolutely horrendous. All right, I kid you not. All I did was give the trigger wire a bit of a tap, and now that I turned on the camera, it's not responding. Out of curiosity, always takes me forever to get to it. Where's fuel pump? Fuel pump. Let's just leave it on for now. I swear it primed when I had the camera off. Let's mess with the fuel pump wire. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's got to be the connection under here. It stopped. Yeah, I'm gonna take this apart, see where I have it spliced into the pump, and see if that has something to do with it. It's been working perfectly fine for quite a while. What I'm gonna do is disconnect and either crimp or solder it back into place. But first I'm gonna cut off this heat shrink that I put here. I don't want to risk cutting the wire with a blade, so instead I'm gonna try and just peel it off. I can't have you working sometimes and not other times. That would make for a really bad time. I've got this. I won't film the rest of me getting it off. All right, so I've got some light. It doesn't look too bad down here. I do see a little bit of black on the trigger wire side. When I initially set it up, I just wrapped the wires together and put heat shrink on it when I had the PDM going directly to the trigger wire. That held up fine for a while, but maybe this little burn here may be the problem. I don't know, I don't really care. I'll just strip it back a bit, give it a fresh bare wire, wrap it together, and I was thinking I could solder it or I could crimp it. Either one would probably be sufficient. I may end up crimping, not sure. I'm just gonna get it unwrapped first if I can. There we go. Go ahead and cut it where I've got that bit of black. There we go. I'm leaning towards solder because I just think that's less likely to fail. Could have used a bigger piece of heat shrink. I got it, and now I'm heat shrinking it. Let's see if it triggers better. There we go. Still on, no interruption. Timed. I believe we fixed it. Let's try and jam that rear seat back in and see if it'll fire up. Gotta clear the relay so as not to damage it. There we go. Okay, I thought that would take longer. Put our steering pump back on. There's our fuel pump. Okay, may need a little help, but it feels like this fan is pulling. I need it to push. So let's try something. gonna make this more proper, and then, well, let's just try it real quick. Okay, now it's definitely pushing towards me. All right, it may not look like it, but I have massively enhanced the wiring here, and I should have much better connections to at least this fan, and I'm pretty sure I've got it pushing in the correct direction once again. Nice. So I'm thinking a quick, non-eventful fuel up trip would be a good way to end this video. They didn't have any ethanol at my normal station, so I have to go somewhere else, but it still looks beautiful outside right now. It's a great evening for a drive. Pulled the throttle pedal up a little too much, but I think we're good. Seems the gas tank is actually reading pretty accurate, all things considered. It looks so stupid when I'm wearing this thing, but battery sounds a little weak. Nerve-wracking driving with one fan doing all the work as the temps go up, but it's kept it under control. The interstate helped, and now we're just cruising home. So that's it for this one. Thank you for watching.